Hello, welcome to Travel Shots Live, where I bring you live unedited footage of all the places I travel. But today we're gonna do sort of one of those headshot videos. Today we're staying in number one because it's about 100 degrees outside, and number two, I had a subscriber recently write to me that made me think a little bit, like maybe I need to explain what I'm doing more. Why am I on the road? And why don't I go to multiple places at one time? So that's what this video is about today. This video's title says it all. Slow travel is a lifestyle and not a vacation. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I slow travel, okay? But I'm going to give you actually a little something to think about ahead of time. Well, slow travel is, like I said, it's not a vacation. Slow traveling is something that you do permanently. Like, for those of you maybe who just joined my channel, or, maybe you never caught some of my older channels, I live on the road permanently, okay? I have sold everything back in the United States. I gave up my job, and, I have the funds, I'm secure, where I can just live full-time and travel around the world permanently, as long as I want, until I decide to settle down, right? So that is the definition of slow travel. Now, versus like if you're on a vacation, think about this. Back in the day, like when I was working and I was on a vacation, you get maybe a week or 2 paid vacation. You're like, woohoo, I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to go party. I'm going to eat whatever I want. That's a vacation, because then you got to come back and go back to work, right? Well, I don't have to do that anymore. I'm very fortunate not to have to do that anymore. And I would wish everybody would be able to get to that point where they can do it as well. But that video is another day. So here's what my subscriber wrote to me. They were like, hey, because I'm in Niš, Serbia right now. And they're like, you're staying 30 days in Niš, you might run out of things to do. So here's some other locations you can check out that are outside of Niš. And I was looking at them on the map and I was like, that sounds nice in theory, but that sounds expensive too, because now we're talking more movement, more money to get there, more money to get back to my place. I mean, you got to figure, I prepaid for 28 days to live in Niš, okay? So if I decide to venture outside of Niš, and let's say it's a 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour trip, I'm not just going to go 3 hours by bus, sit there for maybe an hour and look around, and then do another 3-hour trip back. That's stressful, and that's money. So anyway, it's good on paper, but it's not good for me. All right, so I'm going to give you the 3 reasons why I slow travel. Reason number 1 is economics, as I mentioned. Economics. The big macroeconomics of the whole situation for me is that I can't afford to live in the United States anymore. It's way above my payroll, okay? A lot of people love the United States. They make it work, and God bless them. But for me personally, it was getting way too expensive, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I crunched the numbers, and I'm like, you know what? It's actually cheaper for me to travel and live on the road than it is for me to stay in the state of Florida or to live anywhere in the United States. So that's why I made the decision. I made a plan, I saved my money, I paid off my debt, and I split. And I live out of a backpack practically, right? So that's my background. But the economics of it all, as far as slow traveling, is that if you stay in one location, like what I do, and this is me, I mean, different strokes for different folks. Some people like to stay in hostels. They say that's a cheaper option. I get it. But since I have a little bit of cash backing me up, I like to live comfortably. So I jump from Airbnb to Airbnb, okay? I want my own place. I want my own washing machine. I want my own kitchen, okay? And some people say, well, that's more money than just staying in a hotel. Well, I have to argue with that because, for instance, where I'm at now, I booked this place that you see, and you've seen the video of this place. I'm getting this place with taxes included, which also includes my electricity. It's not just my rent. It's my electricity, my water, my internet, and whatever I need in the kitchen. All the utensils, it's stocked with everything I need, paper products. All I gotta do is buy groceries. It's a turnkey apartment, right? You just move in and you live. So I'm getting all of this for $27 US a night, okay? And that adds up to about $756 a month. Now, I did some research on trip.com and I said, okay, I'm in niche. Let's say I wanted to book a cheap hotel right now. How much would it cost me to book that hotel right now? And it said the cheapest one in niche right now with tax is $43 a night. Now that may not sound like much. And if you're only here a couple nights, that's pretty nice. That's good. But if you multiply that by 28 days, it's over $1,200, people. $1,200, okay? So I'm literally saving $500 a month by renting at an Airbnb, okay? Economics. All right, and then the second thing, of course, is, you know, you can't cook in a hotel, right? So if you normally eat 3 meals a day, that means you're going to have to go out and buy 3 meals a day, every day, for 28 days. That adds up to a lot of cash too, I ain't gonna lie. I personally would rather have my own kitchen. I can go and buy my own food. I can cook it, and then maybe just go out to eat twice a week at most for dinner or for a lunch. That saves me a lot of money on the back end. I'm just telling you, a lot of money. So then the other thing is the logistics of it all. Yes, I'm looking at my laptop. I made some notes. Trying to be academic. So the logistics of it all. So let's think about this. So when I hop from one location to the other, I only have to book one ticket to move, okay? It's either going to be a plane, a train, or a bus. That's it. It's a one and done. I pay for the ticket. I get to the new location. I'm here. I don't have to pay for another plane, train, or bus ticket in another couple days or another couple weeks to bounce to another location. Or taxis, right? They're expensive. And then once I'm in, like where I'm at Niche, they got an excellent bus transportation system. It's literally right outside my door. It's cheap. So if I, don't want to walk it, I can hop on a bus for like 75 cents a ride, US, 80 dinar, and go cross town, right? I don't even have to take the taxi system. So again, logistic-wise is another reason to stay put. It saves cash that way. And then, of course, the third thing is the cooking. Like I mentioned, if you're in a hotel, then you're at the mercy of getting whatever at whatever price, okay? Plus, you don't know what kind of food you're getting. It looks good. And again, if you're on vacation, you're going to eat and drink anything you want, right? But when you're living on the road, that's a whole different story. But anyway, you do save money, or at least I do, by purchasing my own produce, my own groceries, bringing them back to the Airbnb, cooking it myself. Like what I normally do, just to give you a brief idea, to stay healthy and to save money, I make my own big giant pots of vegetable beef or vegetable chicken stews, whatever meat I throw in there. And these big pots of stew last me 3 to 4 dinners, 3 to 4 nights, right? I don't have to go out to eat. I don't have to have nothing delivered. I know it's healthy, it's fast, I heat and eat, I'm done. That's it. So it definitely saves money on that end. Economics, right? Now, the second reason I slow travel and not actually bounce from place to place is my health, okay? My health. I am not a spring chicken. I mean, you can see the lines and the bags under, you know what I got going on here, right? You can see this. I will disclose my age if you don't know already. I'm 54 years old and I'm proud of that. You know, I've lived a good life. I've done a lot of good things with my life, and now this is just the next chapter of my life, right? But if I fast travel, if I bounce from one location to the other quickly, I find that it stresses me out more. I get more anxiety because, you know, I'm packing, I'm unpacking. Now I got to worry, this ticket. What if this taxi doesn't show up? What's plan B? You know, I'm constantly thinking about how am I going to move my body from one location to the other? And how am I going to do it cheaply? And are they going to show up on time? And if they're not, how am I going to make it to the airport? Like, let's say I got a plane leaving at noon, but the taxi doesn't show up on time. Oh my God, now I got to think about plan B. So that is highly stressful and it raises my blood pressure and it's no bueno. It's no good for me. And I don't like that. Whereas when I'm just staying put in one location, like I said, it's one and done. I'm here, I can chill, and I can relax. And then, you know, when the time comes to leave again, then it's just a one-day stressor and I'm done. That's it. So it saves my health. And then, of course, on the back end of the health, when I mentioned about buying my own groceries and cooking, I know what's in the pot. You know, I cook and clean my own produce. You know, I know how much salt, sugar, and oil I'm putting in my meals. Whereas if like you're on vacation, like I mentioned, you're just eating and drinking anything that you can grab, you're gonna hurt your health. Not only are you gonna start packing on the weight, but you're gonna start to feel bad. At least that's how I do. You know, now I'm not saying that I never go for a piece of cake or, you know, I want a bunch of cheese on a pizza. I'll do that every now and then. But I have to stay healthy on the road. I have my own health insurance, don't get me wrong. I have an annual premium I pay for health insurance, and, you know, it's a backup. So if I ever am in dire need, I need to go to the hospital, I got my bills covered. But that's for emergencies. I don't want to eat unhealthy and then cause, you know, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes. I don't want to have any chronic diseases, in other words, where I have to be put on meds and I have to purchase meds all over the world. Like currently, I'm not on meds. I'm completely clean and healthy. And that's rare for somebody my age to be able to say that, especially from the United States, okay? So, yeah, I am going to give myself a pat on the back for that. But yeah, I don't like to have brain fog when I'm traveling. I want to stay as light and as healthy as I can because I got to carry, you know, when I move, I'm carrying at least 15 to 20 pounds on my back, on my backpack. And if you're going through huge airports, I'm going to tell you what, and you're carrying all that weight and there ain't no buggy or nothing. I know a lot of people, oh, why don't you get some roll luggage, you know? And I'm like, because I feel like it's better just to carry it. You know what I mean? Especially when you get to another location. Let's say you get an Airbnb that has nothing but stairs. Well, you still got to lug your luggage up the stairs, so you might as well just have a backpack. Not every place you go has an elevator, man. Like I was staying in Tirana, Albania, and I was on the 3rd floor and they didn't have no elevator. Okay. So I had to lug my crap up the stairs, including groceries and everything else. So you need to stay in shape when you slow travel. Okay. And the third reason is integrating with the culture. Most of the time, when I stay anywhere, I'm usually on the outskirts of a city because number one, I want to be close enough where I can get what I need and see the attractions, but I want to be out enough where I can actually live amongst the locals. I want to know, where do they go to eat? Where do they hang out? Parks, where are the neatest cafes and the restaurants, you know? Like where is everybody at? What is everybody doing on a daily basis? How do they get around town? All you got to do is live amongst local people and actually observe what they do. What do they do every day? That is the best way to travel. Oh my gosh. Whereas if you're a tourist, you're just like breezing through. If you're only staying here 3 days and you hit all the highlights and then you're gone, how much of that culture have you really experienced? Probably zero. But when you live in a society, in a neighborhood for 28 days, you really get a good snapshot of the people and how they live. And I'm going to just give you a quick little story that comes to my mind about the snapshot of the people. And I have a lot of them, but this one really stands out. This was when I was in Vietnam. I traveled to Vietnam and I rented a place that was actually inside an older couple, a Vietnamese couple's house, but they had a 5-story house, no elevator, thank you very much. But they put me on the bottom room that had like a little kitchenette, and it was near the kitchen. I could use that too. And of course, the very top was a covered roof deck where the washing machine was and where you could hang your clothes. Okay. So you had to walk up 5 flights of stairs with your laundry to wash your clothes and to hang them out. So anyway, I go up. I'm doing my laundry, and of course they had the whole rooftop, just beautiful. It was all like outdoor carpeting. It had the furniture, the patio furniture, the tables. It was covered, like I said, and it had plants all around. It was just like this like beautiful oasis. And then on top of that, they had a 360 deck. So when you looked out, like the beach, the ocean was a few miles in front of you. So you could see the whole coastline. Then you look to your left and you can see all the mountain range, which was so cool. And then you looked over there and you can actually see the neighborhood. You can see the streets and how people were moving around and what they were doing. So the reason I explain this is because I was hanging off, you know, just checking out the neighborhood, looking around, looking down. And I noticed right next to their house was a temple. And this temple, these people use the temple grounds for rice production. Yeah, they grow rice. You know, I was right next to a rice field out there in Vietnam. But this was the strange thing. I was like, what are they doing with this rice? This is awkward. So I'm watching them. They come in with these giant, big sacks full of rice, man. I mean, just truckload of sacks of rice. It was harvesting season at the time. They take the sacks of rice, before they did anything with them, they laid out tarps all over the temple parking lot, okay? And then a couple out on the main road. Now, grant you, it was really hot. It was like 100 degrees outside like it is right now in Serbia. So they lay these tarps out, and then they take these giant bags of rice and they dump them all over the tarps, okay? And then they're out there with their rakes and they rake, like they're raking the grass, but they're raking the rice over the tarps and getting it all nice and even. And then they just let it sit out there in the sun. And I was like, is this how they do rice? This is what I'm talking about. Like living in the culture, I would have never seen or known this if I was in the center of the tourist town and was only there for a few days. Okay? That's why I share that story with you. And hey, shameless plug, if you want to know more about my travel stories, I actually started a second YouTube channel. It's called the Disgruntled Traveler Podcast. So it's actually a YouTube channel / podcast. So if you can't catch me on YouTube, I am on all the pretty much the major podcast networks like Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. So I'll drop a link below this video description so you can check it out. If you want to subscribe, it's up to you. But if you're into travel stories, I have a lot of bizarre stories that I have told already that you can check out. And in fact, I'll be dropping another story either tonight or tomorrow. So, like I said, shameless plug. If you want to check it out, check it out. Anywho, so those are my 3 reasons why I slow travel and why I don't bounce from location to location. I know this is a long-winded story, but I just felt like it had to be told. I felt you need to know my background, where I'm coming from, and why I do what I do. Okay? All right, that's it. That's all I got. Like or don't like, up to you. Subscribe if you haven't, wish you would. I got 10 more days left in niche Serbia, and then I'll be going out to another Balkan country to be announced. You don't want to miss it. And don't forget to drop a comment if you so feel obligated to do so, and I'll get right back to you. And as always, I love you. I'm so glad you, the ones that are here, the OGs that love this channel, I love you guys. You guys are the reason this channel exists, and you're the reason I'm here. And I can't thank you enough for all of your comments, all of your advice. Just keep it coming. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. If I could turn it off.